The meaning of soft skills can sometimes be difficult to describe. It can be that unique attribute or characteristic that facilitates great communication. It can be the special way that you show confidence in a challenging situation. These and other events can become more easily managed with this great workshop. With our 10 Soft Skills You Need workshop, your participants will begin to see how important it is to develop a core set of soft skills. By managing and looking at the way people interact and seeing things in a new light, your participants will improve on almost every aspect of their career.
Dee preferred to work by herself, and her position at her company allowed her to do that most of the time. Anything that got in the way of her productivity was an annoyance. She preferred to keep interactions brief so she could get back to work. Her coworker Angela mentioned that people often found Dee unapproachable. Dee wondered if this was a problem. The next day, a coworker interrupted Dee. She remembered Angela's words and tried to really listen to what he needed rather than rushing him out of her office. She realized that her coworkers wouldn't come to her until things were in crisis. She then understood that cultivating better relationships could prevent crises in the workday.
Austin wasn't a big communicator. He liked to get to the point so that an issue could be solved immediately. He listened with his arms folded and sometimes even tapped his foot. If a person came into his office while he was working, he'd continue working while the person talked. This meant sometimes he missed important details. During his yearly review, Austin's manager told him that his coworkers felt they annoyed Austin and that he didn't listen. Austin's manager suggested he take a one-day communication course. In the course, they talked about nonverbal communication, and Austin realized how off-putting his habits were. He decided to try to be more mindful of his nonverbal communication and listening style.
Colleen worked as part of a team, but only focused on her part of the final product. She communicated with her team members as needed, but didn't really understand what each of them did. When they started a new project, the team lead, Tasha, had each person describe what their role was. As each team member described their piece of the project, Colleen began to see how it all came together. She had never thought about what had to happen before her part could be completed, or what had happened afterwards. Seeing the project as a whole made her understand more clearly what the overall goal was, and knowing what her teammates did helped her communicate with them.
Enrique was good at fixing conflicts. His coworkers appreciated his ability to stop a situation from escalating. Eventually, he noticed that he seemed to solve the same problems over and over. His colleague, Helen, asked Enrique what his process for solving problems was. Enrique said he looked for the most pressing need and took care of it. Helen suggested that he get his team together and talk about it. Enrique thought this sounded like a good idea. When he got his team together, Enrique realized that many of the crises in the team were caused by a lack of communication and clear goals. They brainstormed ways to create open communication and clear expectations in their work. Cliff was busy and tried multitasking several things at once, but felt he could never get ahead. His coworker, Shauna, was much more laid back but always seemed ahead. She also seemed to have time to take breaks and seemed less stressed. He asked her what her secret was. "I only do one thing at a time," she said. "This way my full attention is on one thing and then I can move on to another later." She told him to try it for 1 week. He did, and found that tasks took less time than he thought they would, and he was able to work much more efficiently when he focused on one thing at a time.
Yuki said she was only in her job for the money. She worked hard all week and counted the days until Friday, and often seemed unhappy or bored with her work. Her manager asked her what her motivation was, and she told him it was her paycheck. Her manager then asked what she would be working for when the debt was gone. Yuki couldn't answer. Her manager suggested that she should think more broadly about what she was working for and how she could find other rewards in her work. They brainstormed a list of Yuki's goals and then discussed how she could view her work within the context of these goals. Yuki felt more engaged in her work.
Martin, a manager of 30 years, felt he was tough but fair. He thought it was best to treat everyone the same so that things were fair and equal for everyone. When he started at a new company, he was frustrated because he felt his employees needed a lot of hand-holding. Martin expressed his frustration with a colleague who responded, "Our younger employees are newly out of college and aren't sure what to do. They are used to having a lot of face time with their supervisors." Martin didn't want to change, but he couldn't let things continue as they were. He spent more one-on-one time with them so he could discuss goals and expectations. He noticed that work improved. Kurt had trouble presenting his work to his colleagues and often felt nervous about public speaking. When he would present his information at meetings, he would stutter and become very embarrassed. He couldn't understand how everyone else gave presentations with such ease. He started dreading coming to work, and his performance began to suffer. His manager, Mark, noticed this and sat down with Kurt for a one-on-one meeting. Kurt expressed his concerns and asked for Mark's advice. Mark reminded him that everyone gets nervous and that the harshest critic anyone will ever have is themselves. He told Kurt that he did great work and should be proud of it. Kurt felt much more confident in his abilities.
Everyone avoided giving Dahlia feedback. She didn't take criticism well, and if someone said she was anything less than perfect, she would be very cold to them. She seldom acted on feedback unless she got it from a manager. Dahlia didn't understand why it seemed like people were attacking her and wondered if this was why she was not being promoted. Her manager suggested that Dahlia should try learning new skills around feedback. She took a weekend course and realized that she had not been listening with an open mind and had been damaging her relationships with her coworkers. She decided to try some of the techniques she learned so she could learn from others' feedback. Gwen was stepping into a new position, and her manager suggested she join a professional social networking site. Kyle, who managed the company's social media presence, helped Gwen with creating a profile. Then they entered her information, focusing on her education, work history, and current position. Kyle advised her to keep her presence on the site professional and positive. She then joined several groups of which she had common interests and sent friendly messages to people. Within a week or so, Gwen had made contact with several people who were experienced in roles like hers and who had advice to give. She was also able to help new alumni from her university with advice on their job searches.
Although this workshop is coming to a close, we hope that your journey to improve and apply the skills that you learned is just the beginning. Please take a moment to review and update your action plan. This will be a key tool to guiding your progress in the days, weeks, months, and years to come. We wish you the best of luck.